Autoline Daily is brought to you by Bridgestone, passion for excellence.
Here are today's top headlines. Big update from General Motors. VW hits #1, we think, and Fiat sales shoot the moon. Up next, we'll be back with the news behind the headlines. This is Autoline Daily for Friday, April 17, 2009, and now the news. GM CEO Fritz Henderson held a press conference this morning to give an update on GM's status. But the big news is there really was no news to announce. There's no agreement with the UAW or the bondholders, and he has not made a determination whether or not he'll take the company into bankruptcy. Mr. Henderson did say Opel is doing better than expected. GM will keep AC Delco, and he expects to select a buyer for Hummer by the end of the month. But why hold a press conference when there isn't much to announce? Because it's critical for GM to show the presidential task force it's doing everything in its power to turn itself around. The Wall Street Journal reports that Stephen RATTNER, the head of the president's task force on the auto industry, is under investigation, part of an alleged kickback scheme involving New York's pension fund. Supposedly, investment firms, including Mr. RATTNER's, were paying fees, some say kickbacks, to politically connected consultants who would then steer pension money to be invested by those investment firms. The Journal says RATTNER informed the Treasury that this investigation was pending when it was being considered for the Automotive Task Force. Last week, we reported that Volkswagen will pass GM in sales this year, but it looks like the company will not settle for being #2. Reuters reports that Volkswagen may have outsold Toyota globally in the first quarter of this year. VW sales are expected to be 1.4 million vehicles, while Toyota probably hit 1.2 million. Meanwhile, Fiat sales are on fire. The AP reports they rose nearly 15%, while the rest of the European market fell 9%. And in Germany, sales were up 200% for Fiat, thanks to the country's Cash for Clunkers program. Fiat is the only European automaker to see its sales grow. Well, happy birthday, Ford Mustang. It was 45 years ago today that Ford launched this iconic car. It quickly became a smash hit, selling 560,000 units in its first full year. It also kicked off the pony car segment. To celebrate the occasion, Hyundai is giving Ford a pat on the back for 4.5 decades of fun. Autoblog reports the company made a tribute video to celebrate the Mustang's birthday. Now that is classy. You can check out the rest of this short movie on the John's Journal section of our website. LOTUS is developing technology to improve automotive sound. It's working on eliminating certain noises and enhancing others. One system uses the car's audio system to cancel undesirable interior noises for a quieter cabin. Another technology pumps engine sounds through the speakers. Sensors monitor the car's speed and throttle input, and it matches the sound accordingly. The company's also working on external speakers for use on quiet-running hybrid cars for better pedestrian safety. Coming up next, a look at this week's episode of Autoline Detroit. We'll be back right after this.
Changing tires out here could be dangerous, but with these tires, I don't need to worry.
Bridgestone.
This week on Autoline, I'm joined by Neil DeCoker of the Original Equipment Suppliers Association, also by Jewel Gupwani of the Detroit Free Press, and Tom Murphy from wardsauto.com. In the following preview, Neil DeCoker talks about the supplier bailout and how a bankruptcy at GM or Chrysler would devastate the supply side of the industry.
The thing about this program, though, is GM has been given till May 31st to either get more money from the government, or they will go into some kind of restructured, some kind of prepackaged Chapter 11 or normal Chapter 11. Chrysler till April 30th. So really, the length of the loan, once you go into a Chapter 11, the actual loan program is no longer valid. So really, it's going to be for a fairly short period of time. Which
doesn't that tell you they are going to bail out Chrysler? I mean, why would you give Chrysler suppliers $1.5 billion? if the company's going to go out of business at the end of the month? Why would you even give them the money?
I think that's the kind of logic that I like to hear, because I want them to survive, just like I want General Motors to survive. And we certainly hope that this was an indication that the government is planning to help those two companies restructure to become viable companies.
If you want to see the rest of this week's episode of Autoline, you can watch it on our website, AutolineDetroit.com, right now. Anyway, that does it for today's show, except for one more thing. It's time to announce the winner of this week's trivia contest. We challenged you to name the bus GM used during the 1940s and 50s at its traveling Parade of Progress exhibition. And the correct answer is, it's the Futureliner. The Futureliner. In the days before mass media, these streamlined buses traveled the country showing off GM's latest technology. And as always, my crack team has randomly selected today's winner from the pool of correct responses. Pookie, the envelope, please. Oh, merci beaucoup, Pookie. And the winner is Peter Tickle of Cape Carteret, North Carolina. Congratulations, Pete. You just won a copy of American Car Design Now, a book all about automotive styling. And that is it for today's top news in the global automotive industry. Don't forget, you can get podcasts, transcripts, and a lot more at our website, AutolineDaily.com. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.
Visit our website for even more great content all week long. Autoline Extra, Dawn's Journal, podcasts, and even more. So click over and get the inside view at AutolineDetroit.tv.